All right, guys, welcome back to 234 in La Casa. Tonight I'm going to show you all, it's a recipe that my dad actually kind of came up with many years ago for garlic mashed potato casserole. So I'm going to show you all how to prepare that, and I'm probably going to make a meatloaf to go with it. And it's not the meatloaf that I have already recorded on this channel. It's a different method of meatloaf, and it's not that, doesn't take that long. It's really, really tender, really juicy. So I may throw some footage of that in as well. So I will bring you all over and show you the ingredients that you're going to need for this for the garlic mashed potato casserole. And don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you all in just a second. Okay, guys, for the garlic mashed potato casserole, you're going to want to have some onion. Start off with some diced onion. And the reason why I'm starting with this is I'm going to saute my onion in butter just to soften it up some. But you can add your onion to the casserole without sauteing it. That's how my dad does it. He just adds it to the mashed potatoes. Once he boils his potatoes and mashes them up, he just adds his onion just like this to it until it gives a bite to the mashed potato casserole. I don't like that method. My children don't like it. So I'm going to already have my onion diced up and saute my onion in some butter and some salt and get that onion and butter, softened up before adding my onion to the mashed potato casserole. Okay. So this will be the first thing that you're going to do if you take this approach. If not, if you take the other approach of just adding the raw onion to the mashed potatoes when they're cooked, then this is not going to be your first step. Your first step is going to be your potatoes. Okay, hold on for that. So I'll be right back. I'm going to start sauteing my onions. Okay, guys, so these are our potatoes, and these are just white russet potatoes. And for the recipe, the way that my dad does it, he will wash these potatoes with the skin on, with soap, with a scrubber, and he will scrub and get all the dirt off of the outside of the potatoes. And then he boils the potatoes whole, okay, with the skin on. So for his potato casserole recipe, he leaves the skin on, and it's going to be in the casserole as well. I am going to take my skin off. Okay, so you have two options. You can do it skinless, or you can do it with skin on. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and peel these potatoes, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I've got the potatoes washed. I just wanted you to see the size of them. Okay, so these are the sizes of the potatoes. I've got them washed, and so then when you all come back, these will be peeled, and I will have them ready to place in a pot of cold water to boil. Okay, I'll bring y'all right back when I get through peeling the potatoes. And I also want to show you all, I've got these onions sauteed in butter and salt, and they are softened, they're ready. So I'm just going to put these to the side, and this is going to be for the mashed potato casserole, but I'm going to put these to the side to add to the mashed potatoes later. Okay, and they were sauteing for about 5 minutes. Okay, guys, so I've got the potatoes with the skin off, and when my dad does these, like I said, he leaves the skin on and he boils his potatoes whole. Okay, I'm under a time constraint and I'm not able to do that, so I'm going to go ahead and just at least cut these in half just to get them going, because I have other stuff I got to do this evening. So I'm going to go ahead and cut these in half. But like I said, the way that he makes them, he boils them with the skin on and he boils them whole. Okay, and normally he makes enough to fit in a 9x13 baking dish. I'm not making enough for that. I'm going to make a small batch just because there's not a lot of people here and I don't want to have a lot of food left over. But he will normally make this dish for like family reunions and stuff. And I mean, I've seen him make batch after batch after batch of this, so it can get pretty large. And so, but for this particular dish, like I said, it's just going to be, I'm going to put mine in a small casserole dish, but I'm going to go ahead and add my peeled potatoes to some cold water. Okay, so you want to start off with cold water because you want your potatoes to boil evenly. You don't want to put your potatoes in hot water and then boil and all that. You want them to boil evenly so that they're all done at the same time. Okay, so I've got them placed in cold water and I'm going to put them on the stove and I'm going to get these potatoes going and I'll bring you all right back. Okay, guys, so I mentioned in the beginning of the video that I was going to make like a small meatloaf just to go with these mashed potatoes. So this is celery and onion, about 1/8 of a cup. And so this is going to go inside your meatloaf. So I'm going to saute this in butter and salt just to soften these vegetables, and I'll be right back. Okay, guys, so this is the meatloaf. There's salt, pepper, This is a 1 pound of 80/20 salt and pepper, 1 egg that I you know, went ahead and mixed in. And then there is a tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce in here and 1/4 cup of ketchup in here. I thought I recorded it. For some reason it didn't record. So that's what's in here so far. And what I said in the previous video is with your meatloaf, you don't want to just over mix it. You just kind of want to fold it. And so to this, I'm going to go ahead and add, like I said, and I'll put it in the description box as well, but I'm going to go ahead and add this, celery that I sauteed and onion that was sauteed and a little bit of butter and some salt, okay, just to get it softened. So I've got that added. And then to that, I'm going to add the bread, which was recorded in the video but didn't come through. So this is 1/2 cup of torn up bread. It's white bread. You can use any bread that you want. It can be wheat, it can be sourdough, it can be rolls or whatever. And then you're going to add some whole milk to that just to so that the bread can soak it up. And so then now I'm going to take this bread, and my hands have been washed. Take the bread out of here without the milk though. Okay, so you're going to not want to put all the milk in here. You're just going to want to get the bread out of here. Okay, so I'm going to add the bread in, leaving behind as much milk as possible in the in whatever dish that you use to soak your bread in. You want to leave as much milk as you can behind, okay? Because you're not going to need all that liquid in your meatloaf. Okay, and then once you get that added, then what you're going to do is fold everything in by hand, okay? So I'm going to grab a glove and start mixing this meatloaf by hand. And you don't want to over mix because you don't want your meatloaf to come out tough or anything like that, okay? And like I said, this is a small meatloaf. I wasn't really planning on making a meatloaf. I was going to make burgers and fries, but I've got to take a plate to somebody, and so that, you know, burgers and fries are not going to travel very well for that person. So I just shifted gears and decided to just go ahead and make a small meatloaf. And this meatloaf is going to be different than the one that I posted the other day. This is the meatloaf that I normally make for Sunday dinner. It's very, very moist, very tender, very nice, full of seasoning, full of flavor, and it doesn't even have that much seasoning and stuff in it. It just has Worcestershire sauce, ketchup, salt, pepper, and then your celery and onion, okay? And like I said, this is 1 pound of 80/20, okay? So if you do more than this, then of course your measurements are gonna double. So I'm just folding that, and then I'm going to place this in a very small baking pan. And then you're gonna put this in a oven that's 350 degrees for about 20 minutes, okay? And then this is the little pan that I'm going to place it in. And when you place it in your pan or your baking dish, you just want to make sure that it's even all the way across, so that way it will cook at the same rate, okay? So that nothing is, you know, there's no parts of it's all even. Okay, and I still have some of the sauce that I made the other day for my other meatloaf. So I'm just going to put that on top and then bake it. And if you need to know how to make that sauce, I can put that in the description in the description box below. Okay, so I'm just going to spoon some of this sauce on top. And then you're just going to place this in the oven at 350 degrees for about 15 to 25 minutes, depending on your oven, okay? And then we're going to add some more to it when it comes out of the oven. And so I'm just going to place this in the oven, and then I'll bring you all over and show you the mashed potatoes. Okay, guys, so these potatoes are ready. I'm going to fork them just so you can see. Okay, they are ready. See how it's split in the middle there? So I'm gonna go ahead and drain the potatoes off, okay? All right, guys, so I've got the potatoes drained. You can see there, okay? And so at this point, my dad will normally, he has a potato masher that he will use. I don't have a potato masher, so I'm just gonna use a fork and kind of get these mashed up. And to this, I'm gonna add, this is about a half a stick of butter, a half a stick of a half a stick, okay? And that is unsalted butter. And he uses a masher, and it's like real chunky and everything. And so that's the part of the casserole that he really likes is the chunkiness of it. That's the point of the casserole, okay? Is to have a chunky nature. All right, and so I've got that butter, and I may add some more butter too. Then we're gonna add some cream cheese, and this is at room temperature, okay? So we're gonna add cream cheese, and depending on the amount of potatoes that you have, like when my dad makes a big batch of this, he'll use like two things of cream cheese in his, okay? But since this is a smaller amount, I'm just using one block of cream cheese. All right, and then to this, I'm gonna add some sour cream. And I'm probably going to add, this is a 16-ounce container. I'm probably going to use half of this. I may use all of it because the sour cream is the main component in this casserole. At least that's what he says. It's one of his major components in it, is the sour cream. Okay. Okay, so that's a little more than half of that 16-ounce container. We'll just see where that gets us. I may add some more, okay? Okay, so you see, and that's that cream cheese, and that's the sour cream all mixed in there, okay? And then we have the butter. So those are the three things that we've added so far. And next, I'm going to go ahead and add the sauteed onion. And like I said, my dad does not saute his onion. He just adds the onion in here fresh so that his potato casserole, when you're biting down, and it gives a bite, okay? So if you don't like a bite, which I don't, and my children don't either, I don't care for it, then you'll want to saute your onions. If not, if you like a bite, then put them in here fresh, your diced onions, okay? And you don't have to dice them. You can have them in here sliced if you like to. It's just whatever you like, because sometimes he does have his in there sliced thin, but sliced so they're kind of sticking out of the top of the casserole. It looks really pretty. I mean, it's really nice, but I just want my onions to be sauteed and softened. And you would think, because we're going to be sticking this in the oven, you would think, oh, they'll get soft in the oven. They won't. Okay, so you need to saute. You need to saute them if you're wanting them to be softer. Okay, and so that's our onion, and oh my God, it already smells excellent. Just putting that fresh onion in there, the sauteed onion, it smells really, really good. Okay, so then next we're going to add in some salt. I'm going to use pink Himalayan salt. And you just want to do it to taste. So I'm not going to start off adding a lot of it. And some garlic. And if you love garlic, then you want to add a lot, okay? And my dad adds a whole lot. And we're going to be adding some more garlic on top of the casserole before putting it in the oven. So if that gives you any kind of idea about how much garlic that you want to put inside of the casserole. And I'm going to go ahead and stir this together. This is the garlic and the salt. And of course, I will taste this before putting it into the casserole dish to see if it needs anything else added, okay? And no worries, I can still feel the chunks in here. So there's still some like chunks of mashed potato in there, okay? So it's not changing the consistency or anything. And then we're gonna add some onion powder. And you want to do that to taste. And then also we're gonna add some, let me go wipe my hands off, hold on. Okay, so we've got that onion powder added. And then we're gonna want to add some black pepper as well, okay? And you wanna add your black pepper to taste as well, okay? So let me get that added. And I'm not gonna put a whole lot of black pepper in there. Let me get that added in and mixed. And I'm gonna taste this and see if I wanna add any more sour cream or any more butter, okay? So let me taste it real quick. I'm gonna pull out a couple of tasting spoons just because I may need to taste more, so let me see. It's very good, just needs a little bit more salt. And I'm gonna add some more butter, okay? And so I'm gonna add about half of a stick of this butter. And we're also gonna be adding butter on top of the casserole dish. So there's plenty of butter to go around in this recipe. So I'm doing half of a stick. And this butter that I'm putting in here is salted. The first one that I put in was unsalted. So I'm just gonna add that, salted. And let me add a little bit more salt. And I also, while this half of a stick, I've also broken it apart and broken it in half so it'll melt easier and quicker. And I'm gonna add just a little bit more sour cream. I'm looking at the time because I'm gonna check on that meatloaf. And when the meatloaf comes out, it needs to rest for a minute, and that'll give us perfect time to put the potato casserole in and let it bake. And it's gonna bake at 375. Okay, and now I'm gonna taste this and see how it tastes. Very good. And I got some of the onion too. You can you can taste it, but it doesn't have that bite. I'm gonna add just a little bit more salt. And that's it. And I'm gonna get my casserole dish and spray it, and then show you how to assemble this potato casserole in your casserole dish, okay? And one other thing I forgot to add, y'all, to the potato casserole, I forgot about my parsley. And we're also gonna be adding some of this on top as well. But I'm just gonna add a little bit to go inside of the casserole. So you're gonna put some parsley. Okay, and I'll show you there. And so I'm just gonna fold that in. And then I'm gonna get this added to, get the potatoes placed in a casserole dish to go into the oven, okay? All right, so I'll bring you all back when I'm ready to assemble that casserole dish. All right, guys, so that meatloaf is almost ready to come out. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this mashed potato casserole going. I've sprayed my casserole dish with some nonstick cooking spray, and I'm gonna go ahead and get everything placed inside of this dish. Just gonna wipe my fork off there, get all the potato off of that. And this is excellent for brunches and family reunions, and just because that's when my dad really makes a whole lot of this, is for family reunions, for brunch gatherings, when he used to have a lot of friends over and stuff and cook for them. It just translates really well. And I had a bunch of white potatoes and was gonna make French fries and burgers and decided I just didn't want to deal with it. So I decided to do this instead. Okay, and so there you go, that's it. And then what we're gonna do is put some garlic powder on top, granulated garlic. We're gonna put that on top of the casserole, okay? Because what we're gonna do is create a crust on top with the granulated garlic. And so it's gonna be a lot of garlic. Now, you don't have to put all of this on here if you don't want to, but I love garlic. We're a garlic family. And in order to create that crust effect, you need to have plenty of garlic on there, okay? And then we're gonna put a little bit of just a scant amount of paprika for color. It's just a very scant amount. Okay. And I'm gonna put just a scant amount of onion powder on top. You see how it's just kind of like, just barely any onion powder. It's just kind of just. Okay. And then I'm gonna put the parsley on top as well, okay? And actually, hold on, I'm gonna put a little bit of parsley on top. And then I'm gonna put some pats of butter on top, and then I'm gonna put some more parsley on top, okay? So just a little bit there. And now I'm gonna add some pats of butter on top. Because it's about time for that meatloaf to come out. So let me. Okay, and so there we go. So there it is. And I'll get that potato cleaned up in just a second. And then now I'm gonna let me wash my hands and get all this butter and stuff off. Hold on. Okay, so now I've got that butter, I've washed my hands, got the stove cleaned up. And now we're gonna add some more parsley on top of that butter. And get ready to put this in the oven. I'm gonna pull that meatloaf out and then put this potato casserole in. I'm gonna turn the temperature up to 375. Okay. All right, guys, so I'm gonna get this, mashed potato casserole out of the oven. All right, and so there it is. And you can always tell that the casserole is ready when it's browned around the edges. And so I'm gonna let this rest for about 10 minutes or so, 10, 15 minutes. To bring you all back just for a second, just to get a little bit more of a close up. And you can hear it sizzling, bubbling. Hear that? And you can see it too. And you can see it bubbling underneath. It looks so good. And this is your crust here, okay? And see, you can tell it's hard. So not hard, but I mean, it's gonna give you a little crust on the top, okay? So like I said, I'll bring you all back in about 15 minutes, all right? Okay, guys, so it's been about 15 minutes. So I'm gonna go ahead and like I said, I was able to cook some sides here. So we've got some petite green peas and some green beans there. I was gonna make some cornbread, but I don't feel like it. So I didn't make any. So I'm just gonna put some of the garlic mashed potatoes on my plate so you all can see. And this is garlic mashed potato casserole, okay? Sorry, my dogs. Okay. And then I'm gonna cut a piece of this meatloaf. Since I've already made a meatloaf for you all, a different recipe. This is the recipe that has bread in it as the binder and an egg. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut that too so you can just kind of see it. See what this one looks like compared to the other one. And of course the bread, as the binder, this bread was soaked in milk. It makes it very, very moist. Okay, so that's what the meatloaf looks like. And so let me go ahead, I'm gonna grab a fork. Okay, and taste. Let's see, I wanna taste them with sauce on it, so. And of course, and this is meatloaf too that has celery and onion in it. Like the other meatloaf I made didn't have that in it, so. So moist, so flavorful, is good. It's hot, but it is very good. Let me take another bite. And this bite has the actual crust on it, so I'm gonna take another bite. And I can tell a difference between this and the casserole my dad makes. It has the bite to it with the onion. You don't have that here. I can taste the onion, but there isn't like a crunchy bite to it like with the onion that my dad uses. So it's just whatever your preference is, how you want to do it, okay? All right, well, I will bring you all back for more videos tomorrow or the day after. And please like, share, comment, and subscribe. And thank you so much for tuning in to another episode here with 234 in La Casa. I love you all so much, sending lots of positive energy to you, and I'll see you guys later. All right, take care.